So the Healthy Young Mind in Herts Kite Mark launch was all about promoting the kite mark. It was about explaining what it is and mainly really giving the opportunity for school colleagues to actually have protected time to talk about the kite mark, to share good practice. We know that often they don't have that time to talk to each other. So that was a really a nice event to kind of get people to talk to each other, network. So we're really happy to host Hope Virgo, who is an inspirational speaker, who was able to talk to our colleagues about how she battled with eating disorders from a young age. And that was really exciting to hear how she's managed to get through that in life. And we also were very happy to have Adrian Bethune, who is a school teacher from a Hertfordshire school. And he was able to give really practical ideas, really motivational, inspirational ideas around what are the things that schools could be doing right now, from tomorrow, to improve the children's emotional well-being agenda in school and think about that. So it was wonderful to hear him speak, and I know a lot of schools have really enjoyed hearing that talk. We've also had Laura Cole from Hitchin Girls School, one of the first schools to be awarded the Kite Mark accreditation, which was really wonderful to hear how, for that particular school, looking at the Kite Mark framework, really helped to think about what is it that they're doing really well in the school, what are the areas that they need to work on to embed that children's well-being agenda in the school. And finally, we're also happy to host Nicola, Bonsignore and Barbara O'Connor from St Joseph Catholic Primary School, and they talked about how they were able to work through some activities on a small scale in the school to improve children's well-being agenda. And then over time, they were able to make it a whole school approach. And it was really nice to see how, despite the hard work, over a long period of time, they were finally able to see the impact that made to the children in the school. And not just the children, also the staff and the parents as well. So that was really wonderful to hear about.
So the Hertfordshire Self-Review and Accreditation is an opportunity for schools to reflect on their good practice around emotional well-being and mental health and suicide awareness, and think about where there are gaps in their practice and areas they'd like to develop further. It's important, as we all have mental health, and in terms of building resilience for children and young people and helping them think about emotional well-being early in life, to prevent difficulties escalating, and to also provide them with those coping strategies to help them cope with issues they may face later on in life. All of the national guidance really demonstrates the need for whole school approaches, and the evidence has found that the impact is significant not only on emotional well-being but also on attainment.
Parents need to be on board, teachers need to be on board, leadership needs to be on board.
I think it's the same with learning. It's important to get that whole school approach so that there aren't any areas of weakness in the school, so that everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet, as it were.
That's why it has to be a whole school approach. Everybody has to be on board because we all have mental health.
There needs to be a strong message from leadership as well to make sure that this stays a focus.
So Hertfordshire's approach is drawn from the Public Health England guidance framework around whole school approaches to emotional well-being and mental health for schools and colleges. The approach in Hertfordshire includes 2 additional areas to ensure that it meets local needs. So schools have the opportunity to submit evidence to a multi-agency panel highlighting their good practice across 11 key areas. Some of the key areas include curriculum resources, working with parents, the whole school ethos around emotional well-being, etc. So there's many different areas that schools can look at and highlight their good practice.
We hold events to educate our young people and also roll them through to the evening so that we have CPD sessions for staff and followed on by parents' evenings, parents' sessions with eminent speakers on different mental health issues.
We do the 5 ways to wellbeing, we massage, daily mile, mindfulness, there's lots going on.
We have already used a lot of our staff meetings to share training around mental health, looking in particular at mental health first aid.
Our multi-agency panel meets on a 6-weekly basis, and it includes education psychology, public health, school nursing and school representatives. And we review the evidence and then provide constructive feedback to schools. We recognise very much in Hertfordshire that the whole school approach is a process, that it's going to take time for schools and that different schools will be at different stages. So it's not an expectation that schools immediately are able to achieve a green status in every area we're looking at in all the criteria. It's very much a process and a journey.
I'd like to add having a daily mile as one of our regular sensory breaks that we have in the day. We have a little brunch session in the morning for a social activity. I'd quite like to get a mindfulness session going during that as well, either before or after, so we can have daily mindfulness to get our children in the right mindset of learning.
We want to get some more parenting programmes up and running and some more workshops for the wider community, for families, not just the students.
We're also looking at our staff wellbeing as well, and what we can do there to support our staff so that they feel valued, they feel well looked after, their own mental health is promoted, and they are then able to model good mental health resilience, etc.
We're really excited to see how schools are very engaged with the document and with the kite mark, and the level of commitment that schools are putting into that. They're really embedding it, they're really thinking about it. They have a lot of resources that they can use and they are using for not just the document, for that purpose, but really to embed that agenda in schools for the children, for the parents, for the staff. So the level of commitment is very, very exciting, and we just want to see more of that, really.
I think it will help us reflect on what is working well in school and what interventions we have in place.
I think the self-review process will be really beneficial in getting us to identify areas that we need to improve. So already being here today, I can see some areas that I'd like to just tighten up a little bit.
It's a huge difference, because what it gives is it's about every person knowing, all your stakeholders knowing what you're striving for and for the aim and the vision for the school around mental health and social and emotional wellbeing. So yeah, it's about consistency for us.